traffic from a track to a plot full of acres. Do it for the farmers and the producers and the makers. What we even here for? Occasionally I ask it. I know it's more than struggling, anticipating the casket. Reap what we sow, trying to fill up my basket. Life's a plantation, I self-law and master. Over the plot I've been granted on this planet. Now it's slanted, cause the chosen been supplanted. But if you overstand it, it was spoken. Fractured, but we ain't broken. Even though some would rather play the role of token, we growing. Black through the essence of a presence. We carry the blood of gods, we carry the mind of peasants. Rich black gardens, future look more like Eden. Multiply seeds like the seed banks in Sweden. Rep my planners on plan according to season. Be one code, switching it up is treason. Black power, family what we eat. Either we get fed or we feed. Be one thing.
What's growing on? What's growing on? What is growing on? Welcome to B1 Ag Daily Bread Podcast. I'm John Henry Harris, and we also have Farmer Brown, the MC. Here at B1 Ag, we focus on Black agriculture as it pertains to agricultural production, education, marketing, health, food, nutrition, and economics, all for the Black family and for the Black community. Welcome, Black, to the garden. Now, today we're going to talk about the judge in the Kyle Rittenhouse case. Now, this judge is facing backlash for an Asian food joke. What he said was, I hope the Asian food isn't on one of those boats in Long Beach Harbor. And this has caused an uproar within the Asian community, and it's seen as inappropriate and insensitive to the Asian community. But here at B1 Ag, we're gonna discuss those comments, and exactly what does this mean for the B1 community? Does he have a right to be concerned about whether his food is tied up in the supply chain logjam? Now, I got to get this out the way first, y'all. We don't support any disparaging remarks towards the Asian community or any community for that matter. And I definitely don't voice any support for this judge. However, I need our B1 community to really, when we see these stories, any story, just keep your thinking cap on and really put things in context. Because the context of what he said really had nothing to do with Asia or disparaging comments to Asian food, in my opinion. He was just really referencing this catastrophic logjam that is going on in America. But before we get started, I'm just going to go ahead and play this clip of what he actually said. And then Farmer Brown, we're going to dive deep into it after that. So y'all check this out.
So it's going to be a closely watched door. All right. Anything else?
What time do you want to start?
Let's hope for 1 o'clock. I don't know. Hope the Asian food isn't coming. Isn't on one of those boats in Long Beach Harbor. But let's aim for 1 o'clock.
Shenanigans. First, I'd just like to say peace to the B1 family. Hope everybody's doing well. Staying alert, not letting these people mess with your mind. Arbitrary, with all of the other serious implications of the clear bias within this trial, along with diversions from other looming issues. You got 4 million people just in September alone that dropped out of the workforce. They're saying because people just want to start new jobs or toxic work environment. I imagine that there is a lot of people that's not happy with the direction of the mandates. So whatever reason, yeah. So 15% of our imports in what we call North America, Turtle Island, come from Asia. A little bit more. These are your agricultural products. And so the statement that the man was making, I tend to believe, when you get on code, you follow who's winning. And so we see this group of people that this judge represents seem to have an understanding about the way the supply chain works. And so the comment that he made was specifically talking about the worry that they have in their enclaves of, oh man, the food security is bad. So the point we're making in B1 Ag is, okay, we know we're in a community that's not getting the grade A food anyway. And so if this is food supply chain is affecting that group and that ilk, and this is what he speaks of, what are the implications with us?
Yeah, it seems like they were getting ready for lunch. They were getting ready for lunch, and they asked the judge, what time did they want to reconvene? And he was saying hopefully at 1, but hopefully the food isn't tied up in the supply chain. And it seems like the whole country is like, oh, he's talking bad about Asian food and he's talking bad about the Asians. That's not what he said. And it's like this type of propaganda, the way they spin things and the way people interpret things is really, it's on us as people. That's when me and Farmer Brown, we often refer to it as the word salad. This is the word salad. He was talking about the supply chain, which is very serious. It's catastrophic. They're describing this supply chain issue that we have as catastrophic, like catastrophic, because you got to understand that right now we're in the middle of the Christmas holidays. So more people we're already log jammed. More people are starting to order even more. And just, these are just consumer products, your toys and furniture and things like that. People trying to buy gifts on an already log jammed supply chain. But what we're not thinking about, or what nobody's really talking about, is just the same way that this supply chain is affecting consumers. This is also affecting farmers, food processors, shelf stockers, because now you got everything from fertilizer for fields, feed ingredients for livestock, to harvesting fresh produce. All this is impacted by this supply chain, this slowed supply chain. So, and what it means for us as a people is really like our food is not making it to the shelf. It's not making it to our table. Our food is stuck on these containers.
I think the judge's comment was tied to what about the food that does trickle its way to these shelves from these containers? He said it in a joking manner, but that's a real dynamic. We think about the top countries that the U.S. imports from is Canada, Mexico, France, Italy, and China. Mexico is responsible for half or total fruits and vegetable imports, while Canada is responsible for 20% of the meat and fish, with Australia, China, and India not being far behind. Meaning we get 20% of all of these things that we eat within the country from all of these other places. Now, do you think this judge eats low on the hog? When we think about this concept of high on the hog and low on the hog, this comes back from plantation days of eating whatever is left over. The judge class, the law class, the aristocrats, they're going to eat high on the hog. They're going to make sure they get access to the best fruits and vegetables, meats, grains, dairy, whatever it is people eat. And then this 20% that we're getting imported, that's, not because of health reasons, it's because it's cheaper. And so when we think about this delicate agricultural business, because it is a business, actually, the United States actually benefits financially more from the exports. And so we export a lot more than we bring in, but that which we're bringing in, you do have to question the quality, especially when you think of if it's sitting on these ports for months at a time. Where is this food going to go? Because most people, on that layer don't want to take losses. And very interesting dynamic.
We have an associate professor of supply chain management Erkut Sonmez at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. And this is what he had to say about the supply chain disruptions and the complex issues that are arising from the process. What we are experiencing currently is a perfect storm, as we are having both supply chain shocks and demand shocks simultaneously in different industries. The disruptions to the agricultural supply chains are more apparent and important compared to other supply chains. On one side, we have a shortage of food supply while people are looking for food. And on the other, we have food actually rotting or going bad in containers in some parts of the world. That's the issue, because this food that is on these shipping containers, it's not all food in those shipping containers, but the food that is contained in these shipping containers are rotting and going bad. So they're not going to make it to the shelf. And then if they do make it to the shelf, because like you said, these people don't want to take losses, how safe is it? And more than likely, these non-safe or poorer quality foods, those are the foods that are going to make it to our zip codes.
Local. Think local, localized. When you think about this proverbial trough that we call the American food system, and so, okay, you have large quantities of your imports going bad on these shipping containers. You got fields, and these are opportunities. There's all of us live around within 80 miles of somebody that can produce produce and meats and dairy within where you live. Our goal here at B1 Ag is, I know, I know a lot of times they're not Black owned. So here at B1 Ag, when we have our conversation, it's specifically around, now let's identify all of these niches that we see that there's glitches in. We see that shipping, getting food from where it's grown, where it's processed somewhere over the ocean, we see how that can be a problem. We see how logistically you could get stuck. You see how practically we could get sent the residue, the grade D part of this food transaction. On top of that, we know that 40% of the food grown in North America goes to waste, 40% of it. And then when you think about, a big part of the agricultural revenue is generated from exporting. So you factor in the food we're shipping away, the food that we're throwing away, and then the rotted food that's coming in. And so when we think about where we are as a melanated people, we think about when it comes to money. Okay, what kind of considerations do we get when it comes to finances, reparative justice? Negligible. What happens when it comes to legal? I mean, we see the show going on now. I mean, how many Black men and women have much lesser charges and got way more scrutiny than what this judge is giving this guy on the stand? And so why would our food system be any different? We're not here to keep bemoaning on the issue. I mean, if you're up, you understand what it is. But our thing is, what are the solutions? How are we identifying these local niches? The brother just said, and that's the same dynamic we have here in Kentucky. I was fortunate to meet the last Black butcher, Foster Graves. He sold his company. And I mean, he's in a state with 120 counties. He was the last Black butcher. And so one of the problems when we talk about supply chain this last year, a lot of the butchers were backed up because of COVID restrictions, because people getting sick, because people quitting the workforce. Within this 4 million that just quit in September, there's a lot of people that's processing your meat. There's a lot of people who's washing, harvesting your vegetables. So saying that to say, what are we doing as a melanated community to start really having conversations? We're at a point where we need action items. But even while you're trying to ponder, we still need to continuously have this conversation of what are we prepared to do within our skill set to address this? Because if it's a problem now, I would like for somebody to tell me what's going to be this flashpoint that suddenly makes this trend go backwards.
Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. We have to grow this conversation. Our food is like really paramount. We need this food to survive. We need it for our nutrition. But it is It's at risk. It's at risk. And if we don't take concern about our food, do you trust someone else to? Wouldn't you think that they're going to be more concerned about their food and how they're eating first? So we need to take that stance and, hey, what are we eating? Hey, let's make sure that we're going to eat well and we're going to eat nutritiously. Because if not, we're just going to let Bill Gates feed us?
Sure.
You know, potentially just eat some jabby meals?
This is the opportunity, man. We're going into the cold season. If I can think of a use of media other than a weapon of war, you know, it's a weapon of illumination. We're being illuminated to the games. We're being illuminated to the technology. And so once again, how do we apply that to our real world experience? You know, once the devices go down, if the energy grids go down, what is a real thing that as a melanated family we can be codified around, just in case we lose connection with each other? And it's having some sort of food system, having some sort of localized network. We know if you're thinking about it, entrepreneurism, localizing food systems, having a product that you've developed that goes within this food system, having a means of distributing food, having a means of collecting money or spending money within the system as it goes digital, blockchain, shortening the distance between where this food is produced to where it's going to be consumed. All of these are jobs, to keep it simple, stupid. When I say jobs, I mean niches to be filled. You can be the CEO as the person who figured out the shortest distance from A to B, burning the least amount of carbon emissions. This doesn't take scientists and lab coats. This takes being codified around wanting to solve this problem. You've seen athletes, you've seen entertainers achieve some of the greatest heights that a human being could think of. You've seen people jump from like unfathomable distances. And this is because the mind is powerful enough to say, you know what, this is important. I want to wow these people with my ability to shoot this ball or run this fast. When we can collectively, just the critical mass of us, decide that, you know what, we want to be the best at creating a localized food system. We want to create a model that the world envies, that we've protected. We've thought this out. You know, before we went and selling the surplus to the rest of the world, we locked down the village. And to that degree where we can just see the simple code of it, because this is silent. It's not vitriolic. You know, once again, we're in an age where you got to be open and honest about what you're doing. We're in the age of transparency. I was looking at something. They're saying AI can think about, it can read what you're thinking before you type it in your phone. I know we've talked about that before. But saying that to say we can honestly grow, unequivocally grow, be one. This is the opportunity to do that. You know, coming from an agricultural professional standpoint, there isn't anything that's going to stop us from caring about feeding ourselves. And when we apply our innovation towards this simple goal of feeding ourselves and our community, we then become the George Washington Carvers, Booker T. Whatleys of the future.
And we have to do this if we're going to make it to the future. It's that serious. It's that serious. I mean, I don't maybe the food, the shelves aren't empty enough for you to care at this moment. But why would you want to wait till they get completely empty? You know, maybe there's not enough hungry people for you to care. But why would you want to wait till you and your family is hungry to do something about it? And these times are coming faster and are nearer to you than you think. This is in mainstream media now. I mean, they're literally flying to the ports and showing you pictures of all the backlog of all these shipping containers. You know, we're beyond the tipping point. Like there's a problem, a big problem. We've been talking about this problem, you know, since day one we came onto the air. You know, food shortages. We got to grow our own food. We have to grow our own food. That is the most practical, direct way to make sure that the B1 community is food secure, is providing ourselves with our own food. We have given up that task to other people by paying money. Oh, I'll just go pay. I'll go to the drive-thru. I'll go to this restaurant. I'll order out some food, or I'll just go to the grocery store. That worked for a long time, but it's not working right now. And the supply chain is broken to the point where we don't know how long it may take to fix. This might take 3, 4, 5, 10 years to fix. Localized food production. That means people need to grow their own food where they're at instead of having it shipped from overseas. It's that simple. We can't rely on food coming from across the planet when we can grow food literally in our own backyards. Would you rather wait for food to come from across the planet, or would you like to walk out your door and be able to get some food?
3 things in the last week, when you put it in perspective like that. 3 things, and this is how media works. We were reported on Travis Scott opening a garden, community garden, in his grandmother's name, literally the day before the pandemonium happened.
Man.
That was one. And so the headlines of Travis Scott, regardless of what might have been going on, hey, there was another ritual where a garden was started with some kids. So what about this one? Wasn't talked about. You think about with this judge, right? You know, the implications of all the clear bias. But hey, he just made a point about the food system that we need to ponder. Then you think about Kanye. These are just the 3 in the last week. His Drink Champs 2. He went in on agriculture, y'all. He really went in depth about going local, being sustainable. And it's like, we're going to pay I'm not going to say all of us, those that are awake heard it. But a lot of us aren't going to pay attention to the gems and real world jewels that these people they're sending signals. They're sending signals like, hey, y'all, this is what's important. Hey, this is what you probably think about. But it's amazing how media is going to steer you to the negative part of every time there's some sort of gem. And so saying that to say, what's the use of this judge and what he said? If he deals the most injustice, which, you know, most of us assume, he just, once again, was another canary in the cave of y'all niggas better get y'all's food game together because the world is changing.
And trust me, this is not just affecting our community. We're just trying to address our community so that we address it. You know, this is affecting everyone worldwide, all communities, all races, all religions, all whatever you want to call it. Anything that, any word, any phrase, any way you want to divide or dissect the human population affects everybody. We all have to eat, and this is affecting the way we all eat. And I know I don't want to see a whole world hungry. You know, I at least want to make sure that I eat and my family eat, my loved ones eat, you know, first. Because as it's been standing, we've always been last at the dinner table anyway. And this is the opportunity where we can make sure that, you know, we're first at the dinner table. You know, that's why I'm so grateful for my grandfather and what he taught me. And, you know, I wish I would have really understood what I understand now earlier, you know, farming with my grandfather. You know, it really took me to go to college. And man, you know, when in college, I didn't have a lot of money. And I said, like, and that was the first time I realized, well, that was the first time, you know, it happened that the way I'm able to eat is tied to my money. If I don't have money, I can't eat. That wasn't an issue with my grandfather. Whether we have money or not, we have an overabundance of food. I'm talking about like 3, 4 deep freezers full of food, regardless of what money is in our wallet. And he had plenty of that too. But it's like we've gotten away from that type of living. We've given up those tasks for other people. Oh, I'll just pay for this. I'll just pay for this. Or I don't have to worry about stocking up my pantry. I don't have to worry about, stocking up deep freezers. I don't have to worry about that. I'll just order in. I'll Uber Eats, I'll DoorDash. I'll do, you know what I'm saying? And it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable.
Like I said, this is a huge opportunity. This is why at healthyblackfoods.com, it seems like it'll be arbitrary. Like, okay, we understand plant a seed, get a plant. No, there's a lot of science that goes into how food is produced, maintained, harvested, and stored, and distributed, and prepared. Within each of what I just said, there's whole industries. These aren't little. These are multi-billion-dollar industries within each component of how food is produced and dispersed to the population. The code around what we're talking about is all of these are being specifically exposed right now. It should lead none of us to conjecture, guessing. I wonder, where's the niche I can fill? Where is there a problem? Because wherever there's a problem, there's a solution. And what we keep finding out is when it comes to other people being the ones solving the solutions, we tend to end up with more problems. Right now, we're in a time and space where we have a choice. We do have the power to reassert ourselves in growing, and understanding that from a seed, you understand, okay, how much time does this one seed take to get the vegetable, the fruit that I wanted to get? Okay, let me apply this one to thousands of these. Well, how much space would I need to do thousands of these? This seed that I planted, that I got this fruit that I liked, and I know I got a couple of friends that will like it. So from there, each level, you're getting a college course that you don't pay for. You're learning the different layers of how food is produced and how to get into game. Maybe you're just somebody that knows somebody that grows, that knows people to spend, or multiple people that got different components of this growth process. You're able to connect them. Maybe you're somebody that can finance the space or help them finance the space, give them the legal protection to protect the space that they have. Maybe you're somebody in education that understands why we need labor, why lack of labor is why 80% of the food grown in North America is grown by people not from here. And so we realize all of these different niches, sciences. We understand the world is going towards science being a key factor in the food that we're consuming. And so do we have some of our young melanated minds in these laboratories? That's, what did they say Jesus did? He turned over, or Yeshua turned over the money changers. Are we raising the young folks walking in their Christos to turn over the money changers of what our food system has become? It's become so commercialized that it's deviated away from health practicality to where, okay, you got large amounts of people going hungry or food insecure or subject to toxic food because they don't know how to grow where they're at. They don't have the networks in place where they're at. Like I said, this is across the board. And so this is the opportunity for the melanated family to take a lot of the experiences that we're seeing right now, a lot of the injustice, a lot of the lack of resources or funding from the government, lack of, social cohesion. This is one thing we can codify around is learning how to grow locally.
We all have to eat. We all have to eat. And it's better for us to eat, and we eat better if we all know how to grow. If we all know how to grow. Just pick the world would be, just picture that if every human on this planet knew how to grow food.
Brother Lockridge said he worked on a farm, slaughtering horses to send meat, to export meat.
Horse meat.
And saying that to say, I mean, it's laughable. Horse meat can be used for dog food. But when we talk about this nature of our detachment from our food, if we're sending horses over there, what do you think they're sending over here? Like if I can get you to eat this rotted wildebeest and you think it's a burger, it's a burger. If you'll pay me for this rotted wildebeest, which you would pay for a cow, but you don't, or whatever you get your burger from, if you don't know the difference now, am I going to spend all of this money trying to give you quality because you don't know no better, or am I going to cut corners dealing with the usual suspects that we're talking about? You send me horses, I send you yaks. I send you wildebeest. I send you alpacas. I send you llamas. I send you camels. I'll send you anything that runs. Matter of fact, I don't like you politically, so I'll send you whatever's sick too. I'll put a little dye in it. I'll put some chemicals in it to make it look real good for you. And I'll even give you some styrofoam and package it up for you. I put something in where that green, that green tint that we get at the hood stores. I put something in it where they don't even see the green. I'll bleach out the green. I ain't gonna kill the bacteria virus in this meat, but I can bleach it out. I'm being funny, but this is what's going on with our food.
And I can tell you, as someone who grew up farming, you just don't know. Like, I know my food was good. I fed it. And when you're feeding your own food, like when we raise cows, do you think we gave those cows crap to eat, knowing that we're going to eat the cows? I fed the cows corn stalks because we grew corn as well. So we would feed them corn off the stalk and then feed them the whole stalk. Our cows ate very, very, very well. When I gave them water, I didn't give them no dirty water to drink because I know I'm going to eat that cow. We gave them the cleanest water we could and made sure that they stayed hydrated. When we didn't have water, we gave them hay, or we gave them like cornmeal, different corn grains, like we fed them because we knew we were going to eat those. You're going to take care of what's yours. You know what I'm saying? Some people, when they, say if they borrow your car, some people they're going to dog your car out. They're going to mash the gas. They're not going to drive that car very well, as opposed to some people, when they drive their own car, they're very careful because those costs associated with driving poorly are going to come back on them. And it's the same way with when you're growing your own food. You're going to be careful about how you treat that food, knowing that you're going to eat it. You know what I'm saying? Just like when you go to the grocery store, most people, if you're just conscious, you're going to try to pick through what's available to find what's best there. Even when you just go to a grocery store, you're not just going to go pick the most rotted food to bring home to your family. You're going to look for the food that's the most ripe, the food that's the most pleasing, appealing, the most that looks at least appears to be the most nutritious, that looks the best. Same thing when you're growing your own food. You're going to make sure that that food is going to be grown the best. You're going to make sure that that cow is going to eat the best. You're going to make sure that, you're going to take that extra step, when you're watering your plants, that, hey, there's a little bug. Let me get that bug off of there. Or, hey, let me polish it. You know what I'm saying? You're going to take those extra steps to make sure that that food is going to be good for you to consume. And that's how you make sure that you're eating great food.
Bruh said pigeon rice.
Man. I used to say a joke, you never know, you might be eating a koala burger. You might be eating a koala burger. It's because once you grind that meat, it all looks the same. It all looks the same. And I've just learned as I've gotten older than that, you really can't put much past anybody as far as what they'll do, especially when money is involved. So just to keep yourself safe and your family safe, and to make is look at what's going on, have your hands involved in what's going on, and that way that's the only true way to actually know. Because even before the pandemic, when it comes to these shipping containers, not every single one of those shipping containers were being inspected anyway. It's not possible. There's not enough workforce. There's not enough time, to go through every single shipping container to inspect it for quality. They just take a sample. Okay, out of every 100 shipping containers, we'll check 1 or 10. But then you got the overwhelming majority that aren't being inspected. And that's how people are getting sick and infected. Any final words, Farmer Brown?
Know what it is you eat, family. He who feeds you leads you. This is opportunity for us to lead not only ourselves but those after us into a space of productivity. A lot of people are, blockchain. This is very, koala burgers. We have a lot of technologies that didn't exist. We have a lot of media that didn't exist. We have a lot of melanated people who have the means to purchase land or already have land. And now we have a wider microscope looking at the melanated community. And so here at B1 Ag, our goal is to just really get a laser beam focus on the huge area that we have within this space that we call food production. The code is very simple: localizing food systems. The code is the leader. There isn't a politician or leader that we all have to wait for to come and show us how to do it. It's literally once you plant this seed, you learn on your own. You learn you understand the concept of where I'm at is what I have to work with. If I have this apartment building, okay, where is my plant going to get the most shade? Do I have a balcony that's going to get shade? Do I have some neighbors in my apartment complex to get a lot more shade than me? What are the things I can grow indoors and they grow outdoors? What if we have a network of about 10 of us, 20 of us that are doing the same thing? You're creating a code. It's a legal, legitimate code. Because within all of these operations, within the learning that's taking place, the young ones are watching too. The young ones now see, okay, this is a part of my lived culture. I know we'll do Netflix. I know we'll do video games. I know I'll go run about. But I also know that producing food just in the house is normal. This is what we need to stamp in our heads, because our great-grandparents, it was normal to them. They had no choice. But that's how Black Wall Street was built. That's how these great black towns were built, by people mastering a system. And to that degree, family, this is a huge opportunity. I wouldn't wait on people like his judge to make a decision to feed us over his own.
It ain't gonna happen. It is not going to happen. For all those watching live on B1 Ag Daily Bread podcast and on Facebook, check out get your B1 Ag merchandise. It's great looking, stylish merchandise, and have you ready for any weather. We got you year round. B1 Ag merchandise.
Brother Lockwood made a point. He said in some areas it's illegal to grow a garden or collect rainwater. So practically, how do we address this? I'm somebody in this community that's affected by this, can't collect rainwater. So do I know somebody in another community that can? Do I have enough of us within this community that'll go in on just some water storage that we can come get in tanks? Do we have trucks that just as a community, we know we got X amount of trucks that can carry these water tanks in the situation where we need to irrigate our growth operations where we're at? Okay, maybe in my area we can't do gardens, but maybe we lease some land out in the rural area and we take turns going out taking care of it. But that starts with the seed. And once again, these are skills that you don't have to have a degree for. You don't have to be like a super. It actually works if you haven't been like immersed in Western concepts of feeding one another. Literally going back to our essence, you understand the nature of man. There's a wealth in learning how to feed people, making sure the people that need the most justice are getting the most justice, making sure the people that need the healthy food are getting the healthy food. Within those areas of human activity alone, you're creating this civilization. You're creating this you're creating your own table. You know, because I mean, how long do you want to? I don't want my kids waiting trying to get to this table I've been waiting on. I'm like, well, for the time I got, it's better to work on build my own. And to the degree we can codify as a melanated community who eats, who values eating, to this degree, we become the producers and dictators of our future.
Any questions, comments, information, or you just want to reach out, you can hit us up at b1aghiphop@gmail.com. b1aghiphop@gmail.com. You know, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to donate to the platform, you can hit us up on Cash App at $B1AgHipHop. $B1AgHipHop. You know, to donate to the platform, help us to grow this conversation. If you don't want to donate to the platform with the Cash App, like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. Let's get more people involved with this conversation. Like, share, and subscribe to B1 Ag Daily Bread Podcast on YouTube. You can also find us at the Black Boss channel. So B1 Ag Hip Hop, B1 Ag Daily Bread Podcast. But at the end of the day, Farmer Brown, if you really want to know something, what do the people need to do, bro?
If you really want to know something, let's keep pushing this black algorithm. Let's build black better and learn how to grow something.
And if you want to learn how to grow something, go to healthyblackfood.com, sign up. Great course. You teach you how to grow your own food and becoming more self-sufficient and self-sustainable. And yes, we will continue to push this black algorithm.
Pushing the black algorithm. Ancestors, they mastered the systems. We raising young bosses, no victims. Planting that knowledge curriculum. Blessing the roots with the nutrients. The darker the berry, like Nubian. Dropping receipts like I'm Julian. The streets with that food like Peruvian. Trapping the merch and the fruits and the veggies. CSA boxes, my package is heavy. Ship across town in the bed of my Chevy. Printing them up, growing hard for that baby. If you stay ready, you ain't gotta scramble. Bet on black farmers and growers, no gamble. Reclaiming our pain cause the game is in shambles. Blessed with that melanin, carry the miracle. Mothers and fathers of civilization. Black to the garden with food cultivation. Building back better through black innovation. Be one community, growing the nation. Genetically designed to be the dopest. Stoking that growth mindset. Codified, now we focus. Farming on track on track. Be the fam, break bread with them. Pushing that pushing that B1 algorithm. Now watch me get them. Watch me get them. Pushing that B1 algorithm. Rhythm. Be the fam, break bread with them. Pushing that B1 algorithm. Watch me get them. Watch me get them. Pushing that B1 algorithm.
Hope y'all have a wonderful day. Let's kick butt this week. Let's grow harder this week. Let's make sure that we always proceed and operate from a place of love. Let's just make sure that we nourish ourselves and also feed someone else too. Nourish ourselves, but feed someone else too. And let's not give them a koala burger. Let's make sure that we give them something great to eat. Don't dish out no koala burgers this week. Let's make sure that we give them something great to eat, like Granny used to. So I'm John Henry Harris. We have Farmer Brown MC. This is B1 Ag Daily Bread Podcast. See you soon.